speed.
Hi, I'm Elyse. I live in New York, and I am an auctioneer and an appraiser. I started working at Christie's in 1989. I worked there for 11 years. I was an appraiser, the head of the collectibles department, or the popular arts department, we eventually ended up calling it. From there, I left and started working for PBS. I am a certified appraiser. I am a licensed auctioneer in New York, and I do a lot of charity auctions throughout the country. I'm the auctioneer for the NBA. I do their inductee weekend every year. I do toy auctions, sports memorabilia auctions. People hire me all over the country to sell. I think I started to fall in love with this field in college. I went to Tulane University, where I'm currently still really involved. I'm on the dean's board. And I fell in love with the culture, the history, the community. I worked at a gallery. I liked being with artists and learning about them. And more importantly, I learned that art was a commodity, that you could actually make money from people that were really creative. And from there, I went right to Christie's. My most memorable moment in appraising is when my department appraised the props for the Lucasfilms. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I was part of the team that it took us about 2 years to appraise all the props, the storyboards, the concept drawings for the trilogy. They were currently actually at the ranch, Lucas Ranch, working on 3 as we were there, so it was a long time ago. We also then went back and appraised George Lucas's personal collection. And he has an unbelievable collection of illustration art, anywhere from Winsor McCay to Charles Schulz to Norman Rockwell. And his eye and his understanding for the concept of why illustration art is so important to our country is it's incredible. So the Star Wars was just a great fun. And then seeing his personal collection and appraising that was a lot of fun for us as well. The main difference between History Detectives and the Nate Berkus Show is money. History Detectives really concentrates on the historical value of an object, and the Nate Berkus Show really concentrates on really what's it worth. But I think the importance of History Detectives is that it connects the smaller history, the history you may have in your home or your town, to the bigger picture of how an object can really relate to American history and to our past. It also shows people how we research and how you can research objects, how you can learn about objects, and we really show the process of the appraisal. Where the Nate Berkus Show and other shows that I do, I simply tell you what something's worth. They're both important, the monetary value and the historical value. They're just different. My specialty for appraising is popular culture. I ran the collectibles department, so to speak, at Christie's. I have appraised almost every major studio in the United States, except for Disney, but I did negotiate and appraise a private collection from Steve Eisen that was sold to the Disney family a couple years ago for $6 million. It was all animation art and concept art for Snow White. I love sports memorabilia, entertainment memorabilia, rock and roll memorabilia. I also started the cowboy and Indian department at Christie's because I felt that as similar to memorabilia and entertainment memorabilia, Hollywood memorabilia, there was also a cachet for cowboys and Indians. So kind of run the gambit. It's really people and history and how they connect. That's really where my expertise is. I'm really good at flea markets. I'm really good at junk. But definitely collectibles is my specialty, although I can appraise anything. I wanted to go into this field because I started in college to love objects and history. I went to Tulane University in New Orleans, which I'm currently on the board of the Dean's Council and very involved in the city. And when I was there, I fell in love with the architecture, the history, the culture that city has, and that led me into art. I started working at some galleries when I was down there, and I love stuff, and I fell in love immediately. Also, when I was growing up, my dad was into collecting. He took us a lot of times to like car auctions and to antique fairs. So I kind of had the bug a little early, but it wasn't until college until I really got into it. I love what I do because I'm always learning. I'm seeing great objects. There's always a cool connection to history. I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a huge entertainment fan. I love to see music. I love connecting to the icons of the past. And I think one of the really fun things I do is I get people excited about objects. Everyone is nostalgic. They have pieces that they love. And when I can make that connection for someone, it's kind of special. The first show I was on was the Antiques Roadshow. I was one of the entertainment specialists. Then I went to Brian Gumbel at the early morning show, so it was a long time ago. And from there, I got my own show on PBS. We're in our 9th season. It's called History Detectives. I also had a show on HGTV called If These Walls Could Talk. I was the appraiser on that show. Treasure Seekers for Voom TV. MSG, I was the sports memorabilia specialist on a show called Bid New York. I currently do the Longest Yard Sale every year for HGTV, and I am a contributor on the Nate Berkus Show.